Leadership Conference 2014.
You're a leader. Raise your hand if you know you're a leader. I know you guys are. I know you guys are. So now listen here. This is what we're going to do. We all have our stories. We all have different types of stories. And we all have different ideas of things that we could tell somebody, that we could persuade somebody to do, to inspire somebody. And it's all going to start with our story. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to sit next to somebody, twos or threes. So go ahead and partner up. I want you to partner up with somebody because we're going to be doing some of these exercises. What we're going to do is we're going to start trying to tell some of our own stories. And in the process of doing this, I'm going to have a couple of you come to the front. I want to coach through a couple of your stories. I want to hear what you have to say. And I want to go from there just understanding how is this working? Why does this work? Because a lot of times we talk about what. We talk about what it is that we want people to do. I want you to be an advocate for equality. I want you to stop using the R word, for example. People might have the same what's, but your why is specifically going to be your story. You don't want to get caught up in your story. You don't want your story to just end at, okay, I have, like your story over here. Your story didn't end with I've had this mentor and I've had this learning disability. It actually ended on, now I'm doing something powerful, and I've learned my own ability. I've learned what I can do, right? So it's important to not get stuck in any particular part of your story. You need to take what you're doing and make sure that you're ending on something that's positive, something that's uplifting, something that can actually teach people that this is what we can do. So
hello, my name is Laura McCarthy. I work in the disability office here at Lehman College, and I'm teaching Track 2 Leadership this semester. I was able to attend some of this conference this afternoon, and what I saw I really liked. I think it's great to make people aware of what qualities it takes to become a leader and what barriers and obstacles that a lot of times leaders and people participating in all different programs have to come upon and work together as groups to make change. I was able to hear Dawn Frazier speak earlier. I thought her stories that she told were, they really drew you in, and when that she had everyone pair up and share stories, she really connected with the audience in that way. And people really opened up and shared personal stories, which I think ultimately leads to individuals connecting as a group. So thank you, I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Something I think which is more Perry's wheelhouse, which I always try to, is there needs to be a sense of gratitude. Yeah, I do. I mean,
thanks for plugging my book.
Sure, no problem. But there is. I mean, the team that I'm fortunate enough to work with knows. We have some very tough days. Like anybody who works for a large institution, you're trying to do 100 things with a little pot of money, and and there's some days which just are tough days, and and I try and reflect on the fact that look, I have a nice job. I get to do some great work. I get to work with students. Most days I'm not in danger of being fired. Most days. I have my days where I am. No, most days I'm not in danger of being fired. I go home to a strong, which I hope is I think is a strong marriage. No, but I have a personal life that I feel is where it should be. I'm not. I work for CUNY, as I joke. As I say often, I'm probably not gonna never own a mega yacht owning for CUNY, but I'm probably also not going to be standing on a line, hoping that I can get food somewhere. There's a lot to be grateful for. Just remember what those things are in those tough times. What I can be grateful for professionally, which is the opportunity for the great work I get to do. Is I get to work with students daily, I get to work with great professionals, and I get to work in a field where I am passionate about and I really feel has good outcomes. And then I'm grateful for what I have personally. And yes, do I wish I had a bigger house and a better house or this and that? Sure, like most people you do. but I'm also very grateful for what I do have. I think that's very important in staying grounded. So I'm
pretty excited for this conference because we have a lot of great speakers, and I know this doesn't happen often. And, you know, you get it from a few programs, but it's not quite as big or as long as these 2 days conferences. So I'm just grateful and happy that so many people come out, and so grateful and happy that we have such great speakers and great workshops, and that we're learning so much, because not everybody gets this opportunity. So I'm just glad that Lehman College has it.
Hi, I'm Deborah Sanders. I'm on the faculty in the Economics and Business Department, and I was really glad to be able to bring my class to this presentation on leadership. As a professor, I encounter many students who I think have great potential for leadership and could just lead some guidance in understanding the qualities of leaders, the path to leadership success. And this panel of speakers certainly provided them with that information. So I think it was of great benefit to students.
So some characteristics of microaggressions. They're brief, they're commonplace. These are daily slights, daily indignities that people deal with. They can be verbal, so things that people say. They can be visual or nonverbal, so people's behavior towards other people. They can be environmental, so they can be things in the environment or in the institutions, in school or workplace, that serve to reinforce or perpetuate sort of historical discrimination or privileging one group over another. And we're going to see some examples of some of these things. They can be intentional or unintentional. Very often, people who commit microaggressions, who may slight or insult people based on any of these categories, may not realize that they're doing it. And another thing is that none of us is immune to sort of inheriting the biases that exist in our society. And none of us is immune to being subject to those biases. So these things can come out in our behavior. I mean, some of these things are so ingrained that some studies show that it's an automatic impulse by some people. You know, we all come with different values, different prejudices, different perceptions, and when we come into a situation and we meet new people, we may already have an idea in our head about what this person is like or what that person is like because of what I perceive their race to be, because of some of their cultural traditions, because of their gender, because of their sexual orientation.
Hi, I'm Kazim Kutab. I attended the conference. We were hearing a speech on microaggression by Kevin Webb, and I thought it was really an excellent talk. I think it kind of brings kind of a sense of humility to anyone who's listening to it, because you have to identify if you are kind of doing microaggressions on other people. So I thought it was overall just really educational, and I would definitely like to have him back for future conferences.
There are organizations out there that work with youth through the arts and through music and through writing to help children get through different circumstances in life. There's a program called Free Arts that works with children and their families to build communication skills so that the children and families have better relationships. There's so many different opportunities that if you see something, there may already be a nonprofit doing that kind of work. And if you feel like you want to create a change within that community, you can't make a change in a community if you don't know what the community needs, right? So it's like when we go somewhere and we travel to do work. If I walked into Kenya and said, I'm in the Kibera slums and we're going to build you a clinic, what are they going to say to me?
I think they would say, like, are you sure this is what we need?
Exactly. What if they turned around and said to me, well, we need a school? And here I come telling them, I'm going to build you a clinic. You can't do something unless you speak to the community and you know what their needs are. So everything is about partnering. So many times on campus, I see students that are like, we're going to do this program. We're going to do a food drive. Now, there's actually a need for food in New York City, but there's a very specific need that is put out by a lot of the homeless organizations with an actual pyramid of food that they need, so that people can't live on Twinkies. But yet you'll find someone who donates a whole bunch of pies to a homeless shelter, which is great because they can have dessert, sure. but you're not thinking about the entire nutritional needs of a community. So again, we partner with communities, we ask them what they need, we never go anywhere and tell them what they need. So on your next page in your book, after you wrote about passion, you're going to start to think about, how do I know what change is needed?
Hi, I'm
and you
Kate
can make
Lovitz,
some
I'm
notes.
the Assistant Director of Campus Life and Student Activities, and I'm very excited at the end of today's first day of the Leadership Conference. We had a huge turnout of lots of students, and leadership is so important for your education, both here during your time at Lehman, but also outside of Lehman when you're looking for a job or interviewing. You can talk about your leadership experience and development. So I'm looking forward to a successful day tomorrow.
I know that we have a very full agenda, and I appreciate your taking time out of your very, very busy schedules to be with us here today, and hopefully a part of yesterday, to engage in some meaningful dialogue about leadership and what it means in our society today. And I hope that you have a very productive afternoon. And once again, welcome.
This is exactly what I did. You know, I had a crazy dream back when I was 16, and my friends told me I was crazy. My sister told me I was crazy. My mom and dad told me I was crazy. But what I did is I wrote it down, put it by my bedstand, and looked at it every single night. And for me, yeah, this was a little crazy, but it happened. And I just show this during the presentation. I wrote this down on January 12, 2008, the #1 thing I wanted to do while I was going to school. I wanted to get on Big Brother. I looked at that every single day, and 8 months later, 7 months later, it happened. It took me 4 years to get on, but that's how important it was to me. So when I had a bad day, when they rejected me and said no, when my friends say it's never gonna happen, I looked at that every day, and you just find a way. And this goal will help you push through those bad days. And the reason why you want to write this down is because as you're a leader, as you go through life, and as you're positively impacting other people, you don't know what they're gonna go on to create and remember you by. So all about this is being a great leader isn't all just for yourself. It's taking care of other people, because at some point it's going to become reciprocal for you, and you're not going to know why or when or how it's going to happen.
So 4 workshops that will be running concurrently, and we have a little break. You can get some snacks at 4:30 in front of the Lovinger, and then we have a really, really strong panel we're going to talk about empowering the 99%. So bring all your friends and come back here at 5 o'clock, and this is when we are giving out all of our prizes, so it's going to be a nice ending to the conference.
Let's go.
My name is Amory Thompson. The workshop just showed me many different things. Some of the things in the first workshop where he was telling us about simple things that you would overlook every day, that you see every day happening, but you never think that you need to do them yourself. Those are the little things that a leader should have, those qualities a leader should have. And the social media was very eye-opening, because I have a social networks, and I never thought about telling a story with them. And I do put pictures up and I do tweet, but I never realized who could be watching, even when you think no one's watching.
Who doesn't like old people? Unless they're on the subway in front of you to try and get out of the way, like, oh my God, get up the stairs, old lady, let's move, right? So, my favorite story, now this happened years ago. I worked at a campus, I was a graduate assistant, I was in charge of the campus center. It was the weekend, I lived on campus. I had to go open the center, make sure there was an event like this going on. I had to make sure everything was all set. Nobody was in the building, it was a ghost town. Gorgeous day, kind of windy. I have my hoodie pulled up, I'm in like basically my pajamas. I'm like, all right, it's all set, good to go. And I come out, I'm walking out the door, and the way that our building was set up at the time, the door to the curb where you can get dropped off was about 30 to 40 feet. Pretty good distance. So I'm sitting there, I'm about to leave. I open the door and I see this old woman and this old man making their way to the door. So I'm like, okay, let me hold open the door. Now the old woman let the old man in the dust. She's like, I'm cold, I'm going inside. All right, and this old guy, and I'm sitting there holding the door, I got patience. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's 10 in the morning, I'll just sleep while he gets here. He takes his time. Gets to me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, big hoodie. And like this guy shrunk, because I don't know how old he was. He's a little guy. Looks up at me, kind of shaking. Why, thank you, sir. I hope someone's as kind to you as you were to me today. And he walks on into the building. And I sat there, stunned. did that just happen? Did that really, oh my goodness. And it stuck with me for the rest of the day, and it turns out that happened back in 2006. And that story, I can picture his face, exactly his tone, what he looked like. Why, thank you, sirs. I hope somebody's as kind to you today. And it stuck with me. Now that's a story I tell, and I tell you as student leaders or as future student leaders, that one small action could impact somebody for the rest of their life. All I did was hold open a door for an old couple, and this guy took 5 seconds, stopped, looked at me, and changed my day. And it's been a thing in my head ever since. That one small act of kindness that I did for them, he gave it back to me tenfold with that little drop of wisdom. But there's a thing with stories. Stories need 3 things. They need connection, they need to be original, and they need some form of engagement. So connection. How am I connecting to the story that you're telling? How are you connecting to the story that I'm telling? What's in it for me? So if you're starting a club, if you're starting an organization, if you're starting a movement, and you want to get people to follow you, you have to figure out how your story, how your effort, whether it's getting books for kindergarten or it's collecting blankets or for the homeless or coats or shoes, whatever the case is, you have to figure out a way that you tell your story in a way that people relate to it, that it syncs with them. There's a connection there. Because if you say, I'm going to go help, I'm going to go find unicorns and I can't wait to hunt unicorns. Who wants to come with me to hunt unicorns? We're going to make a unicorn zoo. People are like, unicorns? That's not even a real thing. What are you trying to do? But if you do something that's real, something that relates to them, something that they see on a daily basis that makes that connection, now you got them hooked. Now you can get there.
Hi, I'm Ann Gonzalez and I'm from Middlesex County College. The conference is really an eye-opener for me because I myself, I am a student leader in our campus. I'm a president in our Asian club, and they gave me a lot of inspiring tips to relay messages to your group and how can social media help you connect with other people, not only in campus but in other campuses in other countries, for you to relay inspiring messages. And from everything that I've learned in the conference, it really helped me a lot, and I took down notes and I will use it to inspire other people as well.
With moving America forward and empowering people is the different messages that different people get depending on where they